Go. Jack Boggs in the B4, Darrell Lanigan, the 29, your front row. 100 laps. Coming into turn 4 at a good pace. The green is out and the Penn National 100 is underway. Getting a flying start in car 75. He's already up into the 5th, now 4th spot in turn 4. Lanigan is your leader, Boggs second, Hit runs third. Bart Hartman in car 75. Challenging Tim Hinton, making the pass for third off the 4th turn. The Bartman, who started 7th, has picked up 4 spots in just 2 laps. Lanigan races off to a big lead in car 29. Into 1. Boggs trying to squeeze down low as Hartman tries to get by on the inside. Hit still 4th, but now is 5th. Francis running 6th. Combs and Eckert battling for 7th. Andrews and Sewell complete the top 10. Bart Hartman trying to pressure Jack Boggs for 2nd into turn 3. They're side by side. Off of 4. Wheel to wheel for that 2nd spot with 5 laps down. Bart Hartman now making the clean pass into 2nd. The Hartman Truck Center 75. Darrell Lanigan still your leader. Lanigan's lead is shrinking as Bart Hartman tries to track him down. Still a straightaway till they run into lap traffic. Rick Eckert trying to pick up another spot in car 24. Up into 6th in car 24. Francis drops to 7th. Holmes is 8th, Stewart 9th, and Andrews runs 10th as Bart Hartman continues to close in on Darrell Lanigan for the lead with 10 laps complete. 10 laps are down. Now just a car length behind Lanigan as they approach the 25 of Mike Benedum. Coming off of 4. Into turn number 1. Hartman way down on the inside of the racetrack, trying to pull alongside of Lanigan down the back stretch. Into 3. Contact between the front 2 cars. They separate. It's still Lanigan in front, Hartman 2nd. Boggs 3rd. Hit runs fourth. Vanal is fifth. Davey Johnson off the pace in the 1J. Johnson headed for the pits. Stuhler coming forward in car 19. He's now seventh. And Hartman has got the lead by a nose in turn 4. The Bartman, Bart Hartman, has got the lead, completing lap number 15. Rick Ecker continues to hound Mark Banal for fifth. 24 and T8 racing in turn 2. Lap car of Bill Nepper now between first and second, and Boggs looks like he's starting to close back in on the front two in the B4. Johnson close to the wall in car 48, right in front of race leader Bart Hartman. Johnson, the next car to be lapped in turn 3. Hartman has opened up almost a half a straightaway on Lanigan. Boggs still third, hit fourth. But now in the T8 fifth, Eckert 6th, Stuhler 7th, Francis 8th, Combs 9th, and Todd Andrews runs 10th. Lap 20 this time by. Lap 20 this time by. Todd Andrews and Rodney Combs running hard for 9th and 10th in turns 1 and 2, 42 and 66. Hartman turning that lap at 21.13. The track's still pretty consistent. That's about the same lap time they were running in the heats in the B mains. Todd Andrews has passed Rodney Combs and moved to 9th. Pitting in car 4. As Rick Eckert and the 24 moves to 5th, passing the T8 of Mark Banal. 48 Johnny Johnson heading to the pits. Bart Hartman's lead is now almost a full straightaway over the 29 of Darrell Lanigan. B4 Jack Boggs running third. 68 Tim hit fourth, the 24 Rick Eckert fifth. Now Gary Stuhler in car 19. Pressuring the T8 of Mark Banal for 6. They're side by side coming off of 4. Stuhler makes the pass. Stuhler to 6, Banal is 7th, Francis 8th, Andrews 9th, and Combs still runs 10th. Just 14 cars on the lead lap. 25 laps, 26 laps complete. A quarter of the way home and only 14 cars on the lead lap. now, right behind the 29 of Darrell Lanigan for second in turns 1 and 2. Todd Andrews trying to pass the 40 or the 15 of Steve Francis for 8th. They're in turn 1 and 2. They're side by side down the backstretch. 30 laps complete. 30 laps are down. Bart Hartman, your leader, leaving the second turn down the back straightaway. A lot of lap traffic between he and the second place car, the 29 of Darrell Lanigan. Jack Boggs is still third. Tim Hitt fourth, and Rick Eckert a close fifth in the 24. Stuhler sixth. Now 7th, Francis 8th, and Andrews still 9th with Combs 10th. Eckert now in car 24. Will with the 68 of Timmy Hitt. Eckert moves up another spot. He's up to 4th. Into the 68 back to 5th. Stuhler a close 6th in car 19. Trying to lap last night's winner, Steve Shaver. Laps to the halfway point. 13 cars on the lead lap. Rick Eckert all of a sudden seems like he's on the move. He's closed in on the B4 of Jack Boggs and the 29 of Darrell Lanigan, the second and third place cars. It's still 5th and Stuhler a close 6th in the 19. They race through 3 and 4. The battle for second, third, and fourth off of 2. Lanigan, Boggs, and Eckert 1, 2, 3 running second, third, and fourth. Almost a half a track behind race leader Bart Hartman. Gary Stuhler continues to hound Timmy Hitt for 5th. Coming around a complete lap 40. Trying to lap the 71R of Rod Conley. 10 laps to the halfway point. Stuhler in the 19, again underneath the 68 of Tim Hitt, but Hitt beats him down the backstretch for 5th. As Boggs continues to work underneath Lanigan's 29 for 2nd. Almost a half a track behind the 75 of Bart Hartman. Got 10 cars on the lead lap. 10 cars on the lead lap. is high in turn 4, and Jack Boggs makes the pass for second. Boggs moves to second, completing lap 43. Lanigan's right back underneath Boggs in 2. Eckert running a close 4th. Stuhler in the 19 car has his nose ahead of Tim Hidden, the 68 for 5th. They're side by side. Completing lap 45, your leader Bart Hartman has already completed the lap. He's down the back straightaway as Stuhler moves to 5th. Hit is 6th, Penal 7th, Francis 8th, Andrews 9th, and Combs 10th. Rodney Combs the last car on the lead lap. 4 laps to the halfway mark. Trying to lap the 10th place car of Rodney Combs coming off at turn 4, completing lap 48. Combs keeps him at bay. Got to stay on that lead lap to have a chance in the second 50. One more lap to the halfway point. Bart Hartman noses ahead of Rodney Combs to put him a lap down. Rick Eckert in the 24 moves to 3rd, dropping the 29 of Darrell Lanigan to 4th. Bart Hartman completing lap 50. Halfway, Bart Hartman is your leader. Boggs is 2nd, Eckert is 3rd, Lanigan 4th, Stuhler 5th, Hitt 6th, Penal 7th, Francis 8th, and Andrews 9th, all on the lead lap. Caution is out for the fuel stop here on the front stretch. For his 3rd win this season on the Stars by Arizona Racing Series is definitely the man to beat, no doubt about that. They get to the cone on the back straight, we go, and away we go. Stuhler has moved to 4th in car 19. Darrell Lanigan in the 29, now back in 5th. Bart Hartman continues to pull away in the 75. Cars between 1st and 2nd. Eckert now closing back in on the V4 of Jack Boggs for second. Flanagan's still fifth. Manal is now sixth. Francis seventh. Andrews eighth. And Tim Hitt running ninth in car 68. They have their own battle there at the back of the field. And not far from being lapped, Bart Hartman now just a little more than a straightaway behind 7, 8, and 9th place cars. Rick Eckert now underneath Jack Boggs. Into turn one, they're side by side for second going into the corner. Boggs holds him off, but a lot of lap traffic in front of him. Bart Hartman now leading by a half a track, more than a half a track. Completing lap 60, 40 laps to go in the Penn National 100. He's only a straightaway behind the second place car of Jack Boggs. Hartman trying to lap the 9th place car of Tim Hitt. Position 6, 7, 8, 9 right in front of your race leader as he works into turn 3. Gary Stuhler pounding Rick Eckert now for third. Into turn number 3. Hartman now trying to lap Stars points leader Steve Francis. Laps to go, 35 laps remaining. Now closing on the 7th place car of Todd Andrews. The next car to lap. excuse me, that's Rick Eckert moving underneath the B4 of Jack Boggs for second. Rick Eckert moves into the second spot. 30 laps to go. Hartman now lapping Todd Andrews, leaving the T8 of Mark Pinnell, the 6th place car, next in line. And Eckert has really left Boggs and Stuhler. Andrews trying to unlap himself to the outside of Hartman off at 2. But Hartman instead about to lap the T8 of Mark Pinnell. Side, Bart Hartman in the 6th place car, the T8 of Mark Pinnell. Hartman now forges by him, leaving just 5 cars on the lead lap. With 25 laps to go, 25 laps to go in the Penn National 100. Todd Andrews by the T8 of Mark Pinnell and into 6th. 42 Todd Andrews up into 6th, dropping the T8 of Pinnell to 7th. Hit into the 68 is 8th, and Francis in the 15 is 9th. Rodney Combs still 10th in car 66. Stuhler, the 19, right on the B4, Jack Boggs for 3rd. In turn 2, Stuhler coming off the bottom, trying to pull alongside of Boggs for 3rd into turn number 3. 2 former Penn National winners, side by side for 3rd. Coming off of Fuller. Still Boggs in 3rd, Stuhler 4th, landing in his 5th, the last car on the lead lap. And Boggs waging war another time off at 2 down the backstretch. And Gary Stuhler makes the pass for 3rd. Laps to go. 20 laps to go in the Penn National 100. To lap the 5th place car of Darrell Lanigan, and there he goes. who was in second at the halfway point, now fourth, is next in line for the Bartman. 16 laps to the finish. Laps to go, 15 laps remaining. Bart Hartman diving underneath Jack Boggs in turn 2. Lap him. Just 3 cars on the lead lap. Just 10 more laps to go. Here comes your leader, Bart Hartman, completing lap number 90. Rick Eckert second, Gary Stuhler third. Both on the same straightaway as your leader, only they're not behind him, they're in front of him. Gary Stuhler is your leader, Bart Hartman. Behind Hartman's the fourth place car, Jack Boggs, 2 cars back. Then the 29 of Lanigan still fifth. Andrews 6th, Penal 7th. Tim hit 8th and Steve Francis 9th. Rodney Combs runs 10th. Bart Hartman about to lap the 19 of Gary Stuhler, or is he? Stuhler beats him down the backstretch, coming around a complete lap 95. Look at Hartman take that car into the turn. My goodness. 5 laps to go. Just 2 cars on the lead lap, first and second. Good thing it's not 110 laps. There may only be 1. now complete. The Hartman Truck Center, 75. Just a straightaway behind the second place car of Rick Eckert. It's been a dominating performance here tonight for the man from Zanesville, Ohio. One more lap. Turn number 3, his third Stars win of 1997, his first win at Pittsburgh's Pennsylvania Motor Speedway in dominating fashion. Bart Hartman wins the Penn National 100, lapping all but the second place car of Rick Eckert. Eckert now coming through turns 3 and 4. He was second, Gary Stuhler third, Jack Boggs fourth, Darrell Lanigan fifth, then Todd Andrews, Mark Banal, Tim Hitt, Steve Francis, and Rodney Combs. He's signing autographs 3 weeks from tonight, bike races for the kids. That Masters built chassis with a Grand Prix body, driving it into the corners. Started 7th and took the lead on the 15th lap. At less than a straightaway behind the second place car of Rick Eckert, leaving only one other car on the lead lap. He's had some big wins in his short career, but I don't know that any were as impressive or by such a big margin as this one tonight. He deserves a big hand. How about it for Bart Hartman?